Hi everyone, how are you doing? I am Tiberius, welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to present to you another video today. This one, I'm going to pretty much be talking mainly just about selenite, because selenite is actually quite a big part of my, my repertoire, or my tools that I have, okay? And I'm just going to show you like a few items that I have that exist out there and what I use them for. Alright, so first off, and I know I've talked about selenite before, but just to recap, selenite is, well, one, it's one of the softest stones that we know about. And what I mean by that is they are easily breakable. And I've given examples in the past of how I've accidentally broken a few pieces and such in situations where most of the time with anything else it would not have broken, but these things, they just, I don't know, it's almost like they don't want to stay together sometimes, you know. So I'm holding my selenite spiral wand that I have, which I do use for Reiki, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I just kind of want to show you. So that side has a termination point. This side used to have a termination point, but I was playing around with it one day when I was standing at the counter and dropped it, and it hit the side of the counter and then the ground, and that chunk came right off. And that was pretty much the wand telling me, it's like, hey, stop effing playing with me. You know, you're put me in your pocket or put me in your tool pouch or whatever, but stop playing with me like, you know, I'm a pen or something. I really wish it didn't take that to learn that, because, you know, I just feel kind of bad about it. But just so you know, even though it's dinged and a little chipped or whatever, it does not depreciate the value, the power, or the energy that this tool has, you know. So even if it broke in half, I could still use it for its intended purpose. I don't want it to break in half. So I will try not to put that out there, because I don't want that to happen. But anyways, so selenite is for cleansing, purification, recharging, and selenite very rarely needs to be cleansed itself. Most places, if you read about it, will say it does not need to be cleansed, but I've actually run into a situation in the past where we had a piece of selenite that was just so saturated with all this dense, gunky energy that it wasn't able to keep up. It wasn't able to do its job. So we cleansed it with sage and stuff for a while. We did actually come back to it and sage it every like hour or two, just to keep saging it until it felt like it was, you know, released or relieved of that excess energy. So very rare, but when you're in this line of work, and most of the time what I use selenite for is not actually so much for my Reiki work with the client in particular, but afterwards. Alright, so I'll get back to the wand in a minute, since I'm going down this route. So I have a Selenite Log. I call it a log. This is not that big, to be honest. And look at that, it already chipped off. That's selenite for you. There you go. But yes, this is a Selenite Log, and this, to me, this is the top. This is what I use for the top portion. And there are bigger pieces than this, which I hope to one day get a bigger piece, but generally I have like a table or an altar in my room that I leave this sitting on. And what I'll do is, I have some stones here actually, is when I get home and say like I used these stones during one of my Reiki sessions today, then I will just place them on the selenite. Wherever they'll fit, wherever they will stay sitting, because this one's slightly angled, so if I put a smooth piece on a certain part, it'll just keep sliding right off. But that's generally what I do with it. Now I'll leave these on overnight. I'll leave them on for 24 hours. If I forget about them, it might be 2 to 3 days. But, you know, it depends on how much you worked with them, how much energy they picked up really determines how long they really need to sit on the log. But I mean, if you're not doing anything with them for a while, it's just a safe bet to just put them on overnight and they'll be fine by the morning time. So what it's doing, the selenite, is taking the energy out of each one of these stones that it accumulated from the session or elsewhere, and it's transmuting it, cleansing it, and doing whatever with it, whether it's putting it into the earth to be used elsewhere or putting it out into the heavens, or whether it's just putting the clean energy back into the stones themselves. Whatever it is, that's what it's doing. I mean, it also recharges the stones as well. So if any of the energy that was depleted from the stones during your session or whatever will actually get put back into the stones as well. So, you know, it's like plugging a phone up in your charger overnight. It's like you're at like 20% power, plug it in, go to sleep. When you wake up, it's going to be 100% power. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fine. So that's what I use the Selenite Log for. And I've noticed this with other people. Like, I mean, I'm sensitive to energy, but I don't feel energy as much as some other people I know in this community. And you see these bracelets, I wear them like all the time, right? These are stones as well, you know, and they all have the different properties, different energies and such like that. But I've known people who would be either they're under constant psychic attack, and they would wear like a lot of the black stone bracelets and all that, because black stones are really good for protecting against psychic attacks or negative energy, whatnot. But they can only hold so much, right? They can only hold like a finite amount before they absorb all of it, and then no matter what, it starts, like if you fill a cup up of water, then the water's just going to spew over. It's not going to, the cup's not going to hold any more water. It's kind of like that with stones, crystals, and, you know, with jewelry, bracelets, or, you know, something like this. If you had like a black tourmaline in here instead of like a clear quartz, then same thing. It could fill up eventually, and you would need to cleanse this. So the point I'm trying to get to is, if you ever feel that with your jewelry, like, or say you put it on one morning and it just doesn't feel right, then maybe it needs to be cleansed. You can sage it, you can run it under you know, clean water or whatever, just kind of rinse off that energy. But another thing you could do is, say at the end of the day you're getting ready for bed, you take your bracelets off. I'm not going to take these off, but you get the idea. You take your jewelry off and you'll place it on the log and leave it on overnight. And again, it will cleanse the energy and recharge them and make it to where they're pretty much brand new by morning time. Okay? So that's something else you could do with that. And it doesn't always just have to be like, you know, like just stones and this kind of jewelry or these kind of things. It could be anything. Like, say you pick up your wallet or someone else's wallet. Like, you just find someone's wallet on the ground, you pick it up, and you can just feel like it hurts almost to hold it or something like that. You could place that item on here and give it like a day, and it'll do the same thing. It's for like any object, because every physical object in existence holds energy. It can hold energy, whether it's good energy, dense energy, neutral energy, if you want to call it that. But everything holds energy. Okay? So anything you want, you could place on like a selenite log and cleanse it that way. Or sage it or something, which now that I'm talking about saging, I am going to make a video in the near future all about saging. And it's probably going to be, well, I won't say it's going to be long, but it's going to be extensive. There's quite a bit to it and so forth and so on. So I'm going to move on from the selenite log. There's other versions of like tools like this. They do the exact same thing, but different shapes and all that. And I'm going to show you the other one that I have. It's this small round disc shaped This is selenite. It's smooth. I try not to mess with it too much, but it's been smoothed or tumbled or whatever, so it doesn't have the roughness to it like the other piece I had is raw or rough. So it has all the rough pieces to it, which is why whenever I touch it or move it, splinters of it comes off. Like, that's how soft that stone is. This will not do that because it's already been smoothed out. But if you mess with it too much, or if I was to drop this from here to the ground, it would probably break into pieces because that's how soft it is. But this one I leave next to my bed. I have a nightstand next to my bed, and I almost always have these stones on there because I use these stones almost daily. But it's smaller. I've seen ones that are like discus sized. They're like this big, like a frisbee. But at the time when I got this, I didn't have that many stones I was using, so I didn't feel like I needed a huge one. But yeah, this is what it does the exact same thing. It cleanses, it purifies, it recharges, and then by morning, boop, put them in my pocket, go about my day. Finish the day, going to bed, boop, put them on, does its thing. That's pretty much how it works. So yeah, it's a pretty nice piece. I've seen some that are square shaped, I've seen some that are triangular shaped, I've seen some that are rectangular shaped, like this big rectangular piece, right? And it's all for the same thing though. Same purpose, is to place other stones on objects on them to cleanse and purify and recharge. The Selenite Log that I showed you is like one of the smallest I've seen. Most, like, I'll put it back out here real quick. So this is the size of it, you know. And the reason why they call them a log, Selenite logs, is because they literally look like a log of wood, but in selenite form. Because I've seen them that they're like this big. They're like tall, huge, and wide. You know, like 3 times the size of this. And they, you know, look all rough and rigid like this, but also flat like a piece of wood that you would chop for fire, you know? So selenite logs. This one, it's been a while. I want to say it was somewhere between $30 and $40 for a piece like this. The bigger pieces that I've seen, which there's one I've been considering getting at the store I frequent, it's about $120, and that's for like a normal size one, like the one I explained. It's like 3 times bigger than that, so it kind of makes sense. That one was $40, it's 3 times bigger, that's $120, so it makes sense. But I am considering getting that because I have been getting into a lot more Reiki work recently, and I've been using a lot more stones, and so I've been coming home needing to place all these stones, and I have to do them in like turns because that one only holds like 9 or 10 pieces at most, and that's if I place them out well enough. Okay, so the other things I have like these two. These are about 4 inches. These are 4-inch selenite bars, and I have, like, I could see the other 2. I have 4 altogether, but these are the 2 that I use all the time. Like, I carry them in my, I'll call it my medicine bag, where I pretty much take all my stones and stuff whenever I go do Reiki. I have this big bag, black and purple bag with like moon symbols on it and a goddess and all this kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. I like it. But I carry these 2 with me, and what I do with these specifically is, like, when the client is laying on the table, I'd like to do a video in the future where I actually have a person and a table, and you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But I just envision myself, or I just imagine you people are able to visualize what I'm talking about, you know? Okay, so anyways, you got the person laying on the table, and if I feel drawn to do it at their space, then I will place these like right between the arms and where the ribs are on the client. But it really depends on how the person lays. I have people that will lay there and there will be like a couple inches of space. I have people that lay there and they're like, their arms are right against their body. I have people that lay there with it's almost like they're lounging. Either way is fine. Whatever makes them comfortable is all that matters in my line of work. Healing can only begin when the body is relaxed. So my job is to make them as relaxed as I can to further promote that healing, to even have that healing begin. All right? So if I can fit them in, I will usually put them in. But if that's not the case, if they have their arms like too close to their body or pressed right against their body, then oh well. I mean, they probably don't need it anyways. But it's always just a nice additional thing. I like to throw in as much as I can to help with the healing process, because I want every session with me to be enjoyable. I want every session with me to, I want the client to always leave with some story or some testimony of like just this, I don't want to say extravagant, but like this incredible experience that they had just from laying on my table and letting me do Reiki work on them. Okay, and speaking of Reiki work, I'm going back to this guy here, Selenite Spiral Wand. Now, selenite's not the only thing that's used in wand form. I've seen just about every stone you can think of in wand form. The wand itself is just the tool you use for energy work. I don't actually have to use this fairly often. The times I've had to use it is somebody who's like, saturated with like this kinds of energy throughout their body, or I've even worked on someone who is under some kind of attack. I don't always want to say a psychic attack, but like an energetic attack. And when I'm working on them, I will use this to help draw out particular pockets of energy that's stuck in their energetic body. Okay? And what I usually do is, like, it doesn't matter where it is on the body. I find a pocket of dense energy that's just in their etheric or energetic body. I will point this to it, and I will pretty much kind of circle it like this. And I might start close, I might start like a little bit away, but usually within like a foot, I'll start doing this. And what it does, the intention I'm setting is it is drawing out the energy from where it's at. And if I can draw it out enough to where I can grab it with my hand and just pull the energy out, which I do quite frequently, and I'll just throw it into the ground or something. It's just like, get out of the body, go back, go to the earth. You can send energy to Earth Mother Gaia, and she knows what to do with it. She's obviously more intelligent than we are when it comes to this kind of stuff. She knows to take the energy, whatever energy you send to her, she will take it, she will transmute it, and she will turn it into something good and send it back out somewhere else on the planet, some way, shape, or form. But that's what I do. When I'm pulling energy out of people, I always throw it on the ground and just have that, in the back of my mind. It's like, you're going to Earth Mother Gaia. She's going to transmute you. You're going to become something good and service humanity or something like that, Another thing I can do is, if instead of like a energetic pocket, it's more like a cord or a tendril or something like that. Like, there are such things where whether it's coming from a outside source, like if someone is energetically trying to connect with someone else against their will, it'll still connect, but it'll just be like this almost invisible tether. Well, only on a few rare occasions have I actually been able to see the actual energetic cord, but most of the time I can feel it or I can sense it. I literally will brush up against it, and I'll kind of like I'm almost petting it, and I could feel like where it's going. I could feel when it curves and stuff like that. So what I will do is, first I'll cut the cord and push it away and be like, nope, you're done, be gone. And what's left, is just like this little bit that's still there, right? I could pull it out or whatever, but another thing I like to do is, especially with the spiraling of this, I will visualize that it is, as I'm doing this, that it's actually wrapping around it, and when I get to a certain point when I actually feel that it's taut, then I will pull back. I have several other devices I use for like cord cutting or this particular kind of thing, but I'll take whatever tool I'm using and I'll just brush it against the bottom portion of the cord or tether and separate it. And then, whatever's dangling on it, I just flick it to the ground, pull, flick, spiral, flick. It's all going to the same place. That's just how I do it. And then if there's anything else left, I can try to draw it out using this, or I'll just kind of grab it, because by that point in time, whatever's left is just kind of like earlier where it's just like a small pocket of energy. I'll just kind of scoop it out and just throw it down. And if the pocket is deep enough, like if there is enough energy there to where there's like almost like a void of energy, then I can use this and I'll point it at that space and I will just push, or send, healing energy to that spot and fill it up with that. Be like, all right, well, you had your time with the dense energy. Let's give you some good energy. Let's have a good time with all this. And I don't always have to use this for that purpose. I could just put my hand on that spot and just do like I normally do with Reiki. Just send the energy into the pocket, and then there you go. That's pretty much it. So that's what I use this baby for. But like I said, surprisingly, I don't have to deal with that as often as I thought I would. Dealing with energetic cords and attachments and such like that. I'll come across pockets of energy on people, and sometimes I use that, but most of the time I don't have to. Not to say I haven't before. There's been several people I've worked on where I definitely needed that tool. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's all I have for selenite right now. I want to say there's a lot of other different tools for selenite. I mentioned in a previous video that there were like these Selenite Goblets. They're actual look kind of like a wine glass that was made out of selenite, and that's one of the ones I broke accidentally. But mainly what people use that for was for like their altars, that they have like a spiritual altar or an ancestral altar or just some kind of altar that they do spiritual work on. That's just like a decoration that you can put there for whatever purposes, and I've seen bowls, selenite bowls. Actually, yes, selenite bowls, which I actually wanted to get a selenite bowl because they've got small ones and then they got these big ones, and I wanted to get like a big one, so that'd be another thing I could do. I could just take stones and lightly put them in there, because you don't want to just be like, and then you break the bowl. Selenite, so that's another way of doing it. You can just put all your stones into these selenite bowls, and it does the exact same thing as the selenite logs do, What else I'm trying to think of? That's pretty much it. I apologize. But yeah, that is my video on selenite. There's multiple variations of it, but they all generally serve the same exact purpose. Cleansing, purifying, recharging. That's selenite. Alright? If you're watching this still, I appreciate you for being here and having this exchange with me. I express my gratitude, as always, for you all taking the time to watch this, and I pretty certain if you watched this all the way through, especially, that you definitely got something from it. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep speaking my truth and giving information and advice out, and just explaining how I do my work. Okay? And another thing I'll throw in here before I close out is, if you have questions about anything, even if it's not something pertaining to the video you're watching, go ahead and ask them. Write them in the comments thing down below. I can't see it because I'm here, but below is a thing with comments, and you can do that kind of thing, right? So yeah, go ahead and just write the questions, because I'd actually like to be able to do a thing in the future, like a video that's about, like Q&A, answering viewers' questions and answers, or Q&As. Yeah, I pretty much just say it like 3 times. But yeah, go ahead. Leave a question. Definitely leave a comment if you want to leave a comment. Feel free. Like the video if you liked it, please, because that definitely helps my channel. The more that my channel gets viewed, the more likes that there are, and so forth. I know you hear this all the time from everyone. It's like, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please do that if you feel like you want to. But every time you like it, the more likes that videos get, the more likely that the YouTube algorithm will pick up my videos and start, sending them to other people. Like, oh, you like this, you might be interested in that and that. And that's another way of me getting more of this information out to people and become more widespread. So please, if you like the video and you feel inclined, please hit that like button. Comment, questions, subscribe if you feel resonated to do so, and I will see you all next time.